Happy midweek match day to all those that celebrate. A rival is in town, Henry. A rival is in town. If you call it a rivalry, I've heard people try to tone this down over the years, but this is a rivalry and it is a midweek game. How excited are you about this game?
For the first time in a while, I'm actually excited to see this team play. We got a hint of some decent soccer in the last game, and maybe this team has found the right way to play. And I think this game has extra bite to it because you've already played Orlando this season, and it was a 3-0 loss. And now you're at home. You don't want to lose by that margin again. So I think, the players want revenge. I think they've got the momentum going for them. So I'm very excited to see how this game goes, and I'm interested to see what the lineup looks like.
Absolutely. Tyler, you joined. How you feeling about tonight?
I'm optimistic, man. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, the team hasn't proven right back-to-back games. You haven't proven that you have a reason to be super optimistic. But if the floodgates were open last game, then you got to like your chances. I mean, I literally just spoke with. I'm not gonna say who it was. I'm gonna call them out like that. But somebody that has a lot to do with the club, and we were literally just saying like the DP is not scoring in the last game. They should be hungry for tonight. They should be hungry to kind of come in and make a difference. So, I mean, I don't know, man. I just think it's a derby game. You've got to take the momentum you had from Sunday, and you just got to capitalize on it. It can't be this Atlanta way in the past where you have something good happen, and then you just turn around and crap it all away.
Absolutely. Well, will you guys talk for a second? Lineups are out. I am going to share. Just give me 30 seconds here, and I will
Yep,
share that.
We can
lineup
filibuster.
is out.
I'm sharing. I'm sharing. Give me a
You're
second.
Sharon? All right, I'll
I
give you
got it.
one. I'll give you a
I got it,
second.
baby.
Uh,
All right, you go through the
yeah.
lineup.
All right. So we have basically the same formation. It is a 3-5-2, mostly the same as the last game, where you have Miggy and Latielad in that strike partnership up top. The midfield is going to be exactly the same. You have a single pivot of Bartek Slish, and then Jay Fortune and Alexei Moranchik as kind of the dual eights. Your wing backs, you have Saba on one side, and then instead of Pedro Amador, it is Ronald Hernandez on the left. And then that back line, exactly the same. Everything else, exactly the same. On the bench, you have Jaden Hibbert in place of the injured Josh Cohen. And then I think you also do have. Actually, you do not have Lennon. Lennon is not on the bench. So I'm, in, I'm actually I'm kind of happy with this because I said I didn't want Lennon starting this game. You don't have to rush him back. I I like that this team will once again be forced to play without the over reliance on crosses. Yes, absolutely, I'm 100% for this. What do you guys think?
I agree with Brooks Lennon. They rushed him back last time, and I understand the situation that you were in. You were desperate for a win. You needed to get your starters out there. But in a long season, which a lot more to left to go, especially after you just saw him for a short time and then he got taken out, I am absolutely happy that he is not in the lineup. You've got a long road trip coming up here. You need him to be healthy as possible. And like you said, but about the lineup, you don't want to change too much. There's going to be some room for rotation. Ronald Hernandez is an interesting one here because I feel that over the years, he is either the most loved player on this team or the most hated. I don't think there's one in the middle here. It depends on his performance on how much people will love him. They won't just say he's okay. It was either he was amazing, he loves the club, he is, fights for the badge, or get this guy off the team immediately. So we'll see what happens here, but I think with him and Saba there, I mean, they're going to be able to create some offense. Now it's just defensively, can you keep Orlando off the board? And that's going to be huge here because right now you look at Orlando, they have not allowed a lot of goals this season. They're fourth best as far as goals allowed, and besides that Miami game a couple weeks ago where they allowed 3 goals. They have been very, very good at stopping goals from going in the net.
This is exactly what I wanted. I thought I kind of talked about it with John on soccer down here this morning, but my opinion was you keep essentially what worked last week, and I'm sorry, 3 days ago. You keep what you had. You had kind of a thing going. Both teams are going to be tired. Orlando has a little bit more rest, which is fine. But you had guys come in at the end of the last game that made a difference. Jamal Tiare, obviously. Click, another big one. You've got Evan Mascara on the bench that can, slot in for somebody, and we know how he runs. So it's one of those situations where you have to trust your conditioning, trust your physios, and go with what worked. You're going to have to change. There's no getting around that on a triple match week. But you've got to come out and you've got to take this game to Orlando in your own house. It can't be one of those where you sit back. You got to go punch them in the nose, and then you got to play football for 90 minutes, man. You can't come out of the locker room and mess around for 15 and let Orlando kind of grow into the game. You have all the confidence now. You've got to take advantage of it.
So you look at Orlando, you say that they're the I understand this week we played Sunday, they played Saturday. But Henry and I were talking about before we went on, Orlando has played a midweek game every week in the month of May. They have not had much rest at all. So if you're looking at it as a total here, Atlanta is probably coming in overall a little bit more conditioned, hopefully, and Orlando's got to be running on fumes at this point. Though they will get a rest next week in the midweek, but right now this is it. So it's obviously a huge opportunity. One of the players that I personally am looking at to see how they respond is Latte Loth. Obviously, a lot of criticism around him over the past couple days. If you were on Twitter, he should just be completely removed from MLS and any sporting event ever made. But how does he respond? Because he had a few scoring opportunities that you could tell that he was obviously very upset that he couldn't finish. And Taylor Twellman was not shy of talking about him throughout that match, saying it should be 3-1 now. It should be 4-4 nothing at this point. Like he was just kept talking about Latte Loth here. So I want to see how he responds because that if there was a game that he could get things going, it was last week. That time has passed now. Can he come a few days later and respond and get a goal against a big opponent for Atlanta?
I think you have to take this opportunity. If you're Latte Lot, you are at home. This is your moment. And I think in previous games, he kind of had the excuse of, oh well, the whole team's underperforming, right? It's not just me, but now, especially in the last game, he was getting opportunities. He had that one-on-one chance against the goalkeeper, and he missed that. And so, you get those chances as a $22 million striker and you don't put them away, you're going to get criticized. So I think this is a chance for him. It's a rivalry game. Establish yourself as the new lion tamer. You know what I'm saying? Like, come in and dominate for the team. This game, it just doesn't just mean a lot because it's a rivalry game. It also means a lot because it's the last time in 7 weeks that you're going to play at home. Just let that sink in. It will be mid-July the next time we are in this building for an Atlanta United game. That is a long time, and it's a very tough road stretch. You want this win streak. You want this momentum carried into that road stretch so that you can get as many points as possible because you need to start making up ground at some point. This is match 16 for Atlanta United. 17. This next weekend's game, that's going to be the midway point of the season for Atlanta United. So you are running out of time to start getting back. Latte Lot needs to show that he can be the guy for Atlanta United. He can be the dependable striker that they need to, boost this team back into where it should be, into a playoff position.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And let's just take a look real quick because Saturday you go to New York and you play the Red Bulls, which is obviously a very exhausting type game that you were going to run into there. So I am very interested to see here how they handle this lineup and how they handle substitutions in the second half. Is this I understand where you are in the standings right now and every point is important, but if there's points to be had here, it's tonight. You have to get 3 points tonight. If you falter on the road on a obviously a super short week for Atlanta because you're going Sunday to Wednesday to Saturday, I understand eventually you are going to run out of energy there. And the Red Bulls are very good at helping you run out of energy on a normal week. So tonight is the night you need to get 3 points.
Yeah, and I think looking maybe ahead to Saturday, I agree with you totally. I think you have to go all in tonight for sure. You need to go and push this game, and it needs to be one of those games. If you can, you need to try to get ahead early. You need to try to then hold it, do better. Uh, 121, hello. Um, get ahead early, and then you gotta show that you can hold a lead. Absolutely. So you can do that. And then you can maybe, when you need to, make your subs. Start looking ahead to Saturday. But I would not be surprised if once Saturday rolls around, if you kind of go into it, and I talked a little bit about it on Monday, go into it with the mindset that you're going to let the Red Bulls have the ball. Let them have the ball. Let them figure out what to do because they don't play well when they have the ball. They are a pressing, turn it over, and then go do something really quick team. They don't control the ball well. And then if you look at the stats in games where they do control the ball, the possession most of the time, they don't fare well. So it kind of, if you can adjust to it, it could kind of play into Atlanta's hands to at least go up there and get something. But you got to handle business tonight no matter what. At the end of the day, 3 points is bare minimum tonight.
So you look at the lineups, or we look at the lineup what they have. What are you thinking as far as the score prediction? I've changed it many times. The vibes since Sunday have just gone up and down with me.
I originally said 2-1 Atlanta. I think I'm going to stick with it for now. I think this team can definitely be explosive and dangerous on the counterattack, but Orlando's a decent side too, and so I don't want to underestimate them. I think they definitely get a goal. I think Atlanta will have its chances, and ultimately it'll get 2 goals and outscore Orlando.
I think that makes the most sense. But I'm going to go with my heart, and I'm going to say 2-0. I'm going to say that Atlanta keeps a clean sheet for once, finally. If you're going to do it big in front of your rival at home. 2-1 does sound like the proper idea here. But I'm going to say 2-0.
I started with the draw. It started as 1-1, and then it was a 2-1 loss. And now I'm starting to agree with Henry. A 2-1 win would be exciting for this team, and hopefully launch them onto a good path for this road trip. And Ronnie, I know Doug's tweeted about it many times. Does he bring the white shirt back? He has to.
He said he was. He said that night, I got my wife out buying more white T-shirts right now. Oh, he's absolutely coming out in the white shirt. I will be shocked if he doesn't.
Just as long as it's not a purple shirt.
Yeah.
Well, Tequila says 2-1. Lockville says 4-0. Damn.
Bruno says 5-2. Wow.
And Bruno, I gave him a little bit of harassment here. Do we want to talk about the Valentino news here?
That's what I was going to say. I'm happy for him. That's awesome. I'm glad he got a job. He landed on his feet. I think it's the U19. It's the U19 national team, right?
I think
so. Just got the job. First camp is next week.
Yeah, it's awesome. And the funny thing is, once that training center goes up, he's going to be based here in Atlanta again. So it's going to be awesome for him. And I look forward to seeing him continue his coaching career. He's always going to be a legend here in Atlanta for just the amazing playoff run and what he did with the team. last season, and I wish him the absolute best.
I
Absolutely.
was really quick. I was at the eye doctor earlier today, and got to talking to one of the people about soccer, talking about Atlanta, talking about what we do, and they were like, "Oh, so did you go to the Miami games last year in the playoffs?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, we big part of that." And we started talking about Rob Valentino, and then it was like, I think I was actually still at the eye doctor. I was at the very end of my appointment when I saw that, and I was like, "Whoa, what the heck, man!" Like deja vu. I'm so happy for him, super happy for him. He deserves it. And yeah, like you said, Henry, like he gets to stay in Atlanta. You can't ask for a better turn of events, I think, for him.
100%. And yes, Lockville Spaces will be there. My phone's charged just in case power goes out. So we are good. This is a good point from Tequila. It feels like Orlando will at least get one from a set piece, and that's something that absolutely they needed to work on. So again, it's only a couple days, but I mean, if you're gonna be that sloppy in those situations, you are going to get burned from anyone if you just defend the way you did it in that game, which was absolutely terrible on those set pieces. So hopefully they're ready for that. Hopefully Brad's ready for anything that could get through there. But I'm hoping this is a big one there because Atlanta has been able to turn around some fortunes over the years by getting some big wins against Orlando. And you need it right now. The vibes went from, in the red to about even, maybe just a little bit above even here, but this can really skyrocket you.
You just can't give up 27 or 28 shots. You've got to really, you got to get that under control. Set pieces are one thing, and I mean, you never know what's going to happen, but you can't let Orlando do what Cincinnati did, and thankfully Cincinnati wasn't as clinical as they could be or have been in the past. You got to get the amount of shots being taken under control. It's one thing to have 25, 28 shots from like low percentage areas, right? Like outside the box, way outside the box, whatever. But I mean, Cincinnati was getting into the box and taking shots, and thankfully the defense was enough to keep too many from going in. But you got to get that under control and not let Orlando have those chances.
That's a good point, Tyler. I mean, we need to see the trend there because obviously they're trying something new. They allowed a lot of shots last game. If that continues, yeah, you're scoring some goals, but eventually you're going to get to a team that is going to be able to finish those chances more efficient than what Cincinnati was able to do on Sunday. So if they can narrow that down just a little bit and continue to score goals, fantastic. But if you're going to just turn every game into a track meet, which Ronnie has said he would rather have that than a 1-0 game or a 2-0 game, the opposite of Frankie De Boer. It's fun, but it could also get messy extremely quick. And that's I understand it's great for entertainment, but I don't think that it's sustainable for this team to be able to put up 4 every game. So yeah, hopefully we see that because if not, then we're going to go on this road trip being extremely scared if they're going to keep running this out because it only gets. eh, We know how MLS works. The power levels just go up when you're at home, and that's obviously something that we need to be scared of if this continues. So yeah, good point there. We need to see how that goes. Any final thoughts?
Get in, score early, get ahead early. I think that only helps your game if you're going on the counterattack because it forces your opponent to really come out and try to find the game, try to attack you more, and it'll open more spaces at the back for you to then go in and attack. And Atlanta has fast players that can do that. Latte Lot can do it. We haven't, he missed his chance the last time, but we know he can do it. That's why he was signed. Miggy has the pace, he can do it too. Saba has the pace, he can do it too. So get ahead early, preferably a 2-goal lead early, and try to hold on to that as much as you can and take your chances when you get them.
Well, I've heard a rumor that in the locker room they're actually showing your rant about Miguel Almiron to the entire team, Henry. So
I
that's
can't hear a
currently what they're
word
watching
because it
at this
is
moment.
it is loud.
It's probably a
And
good thing you can't hear in here.
just talking some trash about you. That's all. Eh, Like last year, they're expecting a big crowd. I am curious of that. Obviously, midweek games haven't been great for this team. Add on the overall play of this team, and isn't it raining real bad out there?
There was like a storm cloud that came over like about an hour ago, 45 minutes ago. So it's actually not raining now. Last game, I will say, like it was dead until the opening whistle, and then we looked around, and it was actually pretty significant. It was a pretty good crowd. Um, Parking lot was freaking packed though. So I mean, like more than it normally is on a Saturday. Now I don't know if that's because people were like, "Hey, we got to get covered parking," but the outside looked pretty good. So we'll see.
Bruno says, "Get in, score early." That's how I had both my children. So yeah, I mean that's what this team's got to do. And Bruno just had a child as well, so that's probably how it worked out for him too. So, yep, that is the motto for the day. All right, guys. Well, enjoy the game. Try to
I
say it
can't
with.
hear anything. It's really loud in here.
It's just funny that he's just making that face. He has no idea what I'm saying. All right, you guys enjoy the game. We'll be back at Spaces immediately after. Have a good one.
And tomorrow,
And tomorrow for what we will talk about the results of this game, hopefully being happy and not a sad Thursday. All right, see y'all.